So I was having a conversation with my partner the other day, and we were talking about um, just relationships and relational dynamics. This is not straight relationships, relationship dynamics, and just you know why divorce rates are so high. Why what makes someone have a successful marriage, and that success looks different for everyone. And relationships are complicated. I mean, family relationships, friendships, especially long term friendships, it gets complicated, especially when you have to be honest or you have to tell someone uncomfortable things. And when you're in a intimate relationship, marriage, that happens a lot more because you live with that person. Just like it happens with family, where you just have to be honest and be like, I don't like this, or I don't like that you do this, or I don't like that you say this, and they do the same to you. And depending, not all families do that, unfortunately, and those that don't have a lot of issues. But we were talking about relationships in a nutshell, and my history, from what I know, relationships have not been successful for a lot of family members. So, like, my version of relationship is like, well, it's really hard, and people can't cope with it, and they give up, right? Versus my partner, she's been around more people who have more successful relationships for long term, friends, family. So I was like, huh, that's interesting. Um, and I started to talk to her, tell her about like a few friends and family members who have been in long term relationships and married. Um, and I came to the conclusion that a lot of those people are really simple people. When I say simple, I don't mean dumb. Even though I can put that in the title and probably gets more clicks, but that's just the reality of the algorithm. But um, I'm a person that seeks a lot of knowledge. I read a lot of books. I listen to podcasts. I'm always learning, like literally always learning. I have so many fascination. I run through so many YouTube rabbit holes. Like, it's kind of annoying, but it's kind of like my personal addiction. Like, people have alcohol addiction, food addiction. My addiction is knowledge. Sometimes I think it's an unhealthy amount, but that's just the case. But you know, I talked to her about a family member of mine who has a relationship. He doesn't have a college degree. I think his partner does, though. He was a military dude, and he met his partner through one of the apps, one of the dating apps, one of the not super well known ones, not Tinder, not Hinge, not any of those. It was one of those like low key ones, and they hit it off, and in about 2016 they got married, and I was actually, funny enough, their photographer for that wedding. Funny, funny, free labor, free family labor. That's how us Latinos do it. um, but he's a simple dude. He likes his things. He likes his cars. He likes his video games. He has kids. He's a family guy. Very simple. Lives in Florida. And his girlfriend's kind of like the same way. I think she's a nurse or something. She's in the medical field, but one of those admin or style jobs. Maybe a nurse, maybe admin. I don't know. But I don't know. I hung out with them a few times, right? They've been together for a very long time. I mean, their wedding was probably like 2016, I believe. They were together for years before they got married. And they're still together to this day. So I would say like more than 15 years of being together, in total, about 10 years married. And I remember going to their house 3-ish years ago just to hang out. Visit them, see my little, cousins and stuff like that. And they just seemed happy. They joke a lot. They're very intimate with each other after 15 plus years. I feel like most relationships I know, and you tell me in the comment section, like most relationships, usually by like year 10, you're not touchy feely anymore. You're like, all right, see you later. You know what I mean? Um, I've had that experience, so I know how it is. But I just came to this conclusion. I think simple people are just happier. They're happier in their relationships. I don't think more knowledge equates to happiness, and a lot of unsuccessful relationships and unsuccessful marriages. You see it all the time. Very smart people go through this. Very smart people do stay in relationship. If one, they have high EQ, which means emotional intelligence, they might have gotten some therapy and self-soothing tactics. They don't make rash decisions super fast. Now, there's an issue here because I've had these three happen personally. Because I know too much. I know, I've read dozens of relationship books, biology books. When you understand the human experience, you're like, oh, I'm going against biology. I'm for sure going to lose. Like going against biology. I think Tom Bilyeu from Impact Theory talks about this all the time. Like we're a soul being having a biological experience or something like that. I'm totally messing that up, but we're going through a biological experience. Everything we do is pure biology. It's a bunch of functions and hormones going on in here and in the body, right? And yeah, and I was like, damn, like I'm smart and I know these things, which makes it harder to be in relationship sometimes. Again, friends, family, partnerships. I mean, I've had a few relationships in my life and they've ended for a variety of reasons. And most of those is because it's like things and you're just like, I don't think this is gonna work out because X, Y, Z. And once you understand laws of human nature, or like once you can see kind of like the colors, and like, sorry, I didn't mean that way. Once you see the light, you be like, okay, or the darkness, you just go with it, and you're like, I don't want to deal with this. So I'm just gonna go towards this light or this attractive person for people that cheat, or you just take the easy way out because it's literally a biological imperative. Like, I'm uncomfortable. I'm going to do this thing that makes me feel good. And some of us, it's harder to ignore those realities, and some of us are smart enough or not smart enough to not handle those realities. But sometimes when you don't know about why people get divorced, number one reason, finances. Number two reason, no sex. That's usually the cases. And it's like, well, it's probably better not to know that, because then you're probably more likely to fix those issues. And I've seen it. I've seen people go through divorce, and I've asked, and usually I haven't seen anything in finance in my personal experience. That's just what the data shows. But I've seen for like lack of intimacy, and I've seen for just like, you just stop loving each other. You became roommates. You became more friends, and you're like, I'd rather go with someone else who I feel a little more connection to in that way. But there's something about the simplicity of life and just not knowing much where you can be happy. I feel like knowledge is kind of a curse. Like you know so much about history, you see cycles, you see patterns, you read through books about history, you see patterns, read books, biographies of human beings, whether terrible or great, you see patterns. There's patterns and there's like luck, just luck of the draw, like you grew up in America, woohoo, in the last 100 years or since the Great Depression, woohoo, you got luck of the draw, bro. Luck of the draw. I mean, other countries you could do pretty decent, but America is still the richest country in 2026 in the world. Luck of the draw. So sometimes there's those aspects, and I had a whole video on that a few days ago, on the luck of the draw. But I don't know. It's like the simplicity of living life that I think those people are just happier. I feel like growing up in New York, coming to the San Francisco Bay Area, there's two major cities that just like have so much commerce. You got tech, you got finance and tech. New York is finance and tech. We're mostly tech here. And like people are just running towards something that they don't know where they're running to. Versus like, I don't know, like the chillness of being a farmer or something. or like doing your work, or like building something with your hands. Like, I don't know, there's some simplicity in that. And even, I grew up around a lot of very poor people. I grew up in a poor neighborhood, very, very low income, and people were very simple, and they were pretty happy from what I can see. Right? I don't know their situations, but they were very loving and happy. And sometimes I'm like, well, I don't know. There's this huge thought of like, am I going towards the right path, right? Like being in tech and AI and all this shit. And I'm in San Francisco, and it's like, yeah, I make great money, but like, at what cost am I doing this for? I mean, at the end of the day, it's like I'm just believing and trusting in God that He's putting me in places for a reason. I know I'm not going to be in tech for a long time. I'm going to do this for a few years, and then I'm going to peace out, like, for sure, wherever that may lead me. I hope something like this takes off, or like the organization that I'm running, my HOS, Human Operating System org. And I'm not looking to be like, oh, get the funding and grow and unlimited growth, stockholders, stakeholders, you know. I don't want to do that. I just want a lifestyle business that helps me and my family eat every day, travel a few times a year, and just chill. I don't need a Lamborghini. I don't need a big fancy mansion. I don't need that shit. I just want to live a simple life too. And sometimes knowing too much is more stressful than knowing, but I'm addicted to it, man. I just can't stop. So I'm trying to think, like, bring my mindset somewhere else when it comes to that. And I use relationship as coming full circle. I use relationship as an example because it's the simplest thing I know, where I was like, I've seen people who are very simple, extremely happy, and I've seen people super successful, all this money. They both have great jobs, and they're just stressed. They're constantly bickering or fighting, or the relationship is just kind of held together by one person, and the other person's just kind of there. Those are the kind of three things I've seen with people who are a little more, who have money, they do okay for themselves, versus those that they live a simple life. They got like very humble jobs, right? Like nurse and contractor type of thing. Like, you can make good money doing that, but it's not like anything that's crazy, right? So yeah, that's kind of what I wanted to get off my chest today. Hope you enjoy. Let's keep the conversation going in the comments below. Thank you guys for commenting. I've seen a few comments come through over the last few videos, and I really appreciate it. Let's keep that going. I'm trying to grow something here, and hopefully it leads to something. But yeah, thanks a lot. Like, subscribe if you haven't already. All right, peace.